It is 11:23 p.m. on a Wednesday in March. The living room is lit by the laptop and a single lamp in the corner. A mug of tea has gone cold on the coffee table. The upstairs neighbor walks across the floor and stops. A car passes outside and is gone. You are clicking through a county assessor website. Your rent went up $180 this month. You wanted to know who to write the letter to. The LLC on your lease owns the building. Another LLC owns the first LLC. A real estate trust owns the second LLC. You keep clicking. The trail is long. Every layer is a name you have never heard. You didn't start here. Level 1. You are 29 years old. You work as a dental hygienist at a practice off Route 9 in Beaverton. You make $68,000 a year. You rent a one-bedroom in a building called the Ellington, built in 1973, renovated in 2019. Your rent was $1,890. This month it is $2,070. You have lived here for 3 years. The lease you signed was with an entity called Ellington Residential, LLC. You have never met anyone from Ellington Residential, LLC. You have met the property manager, a woman named Brenda, who works for a company called Rivercrest. Brenda is 52. Her email signature has a photograph of a golden retriever. She's the person you called when the dishwasher stopped working in January. It took 11 days to fix. The rent check does not go to Brenda. The rent is auto-debited on the first of the month. The ACH descriptor says Ellington Recid PMT. 8 seconds after it leaves your account, your balance updates. Until tonight, you assume the money went to a person. A couple who bought the building in the 80s. The assessor's website shows the owner name. The owner is not a person. The owner is a limited liability company registered in Delaware. The mailing address is a P.O. box in Wilmington. The first rule, the name on your lease is the shallowest layer of the ledger. Everything else sits underneath. Level 2. Ellington Residential LLC was registered in Delaware in 2021. Its sole member is another Delaware entity, Pacific Northwest Multifamily Holdings, 3 LLC. You find this in a filing that costs $8 to download. You download it. Pacific Northwest Multifamily Holdings 3 holds 47 properties across Oregon and Washington. Apartment buildings mostly. The total door count is 3,412. The Ellington is 64 of those doors. The holding company is owned by a fund. The fund is called Stonebridge Value Add Real Estate Fund 3. It has $1.8 billion in committed capital. It was closed to new investors in 2020. It has a 10-year life. It is in year 5. The fund's strategy is in the brochure. The brochure was filed with the SEC under Form ADV. The language is clean. Acquire Class B multifamily and secondary markets. Renovate units on turnover. Raise rents to market. Sell in 5 to 7 years at a compressed cap rate. Target net IRR to LPs, 14 to 16%. Your unit was renovated on turnover. The tenant before you paid $1,420. You paid $1,890 on day 1. That is a 33% increase for the same drywall, the same windows, the same 612 square feet. The refrigerator is new. The countertop is new. The bones are the bones from 1973. Level 3. The brochure lists the fund's limited partners in aggregate. It does not name them. It lists them in categories: public pensions, 34%, sovereign wealth, 18%, insurance, 16%, endowments, 14%, family offices, 11%, high net worth individuals, 7%. You open a different document. It is the annual report of the Oregon Public Employees Retirement System. You open it because you grew up here. On page 184, there is a list of private real estate commitments. Stonebridge Value Add, Real Estate Fund 3 is on the list. The commitment is $150 million. The fund has called $112 million to date. Oregon PERS has roughly 400,000 beneficiaries, retired teachers, firefighters, state clerks, prison guards, highway engineers. The average pension is $31,000 a year. The total plan is worth $94 billion. Real estate is 12% of the portfolio. Multifamily is a subsleeve. Your building is a subsleeve of a subsleeve. Your mother is a retired middle school teacher in Salem. Her pension comes from Oregon PERS. She gets $2,940 a month. Some unknowable fraction of that $2,940 is, in a strict accounting sense, financed by the $180 your rent went up this month. You put the laptop down. You pick it back up. You open a new tab. You do not know what you were going to search for. Level 4. The mechanism is documented. It is not hidden. It is in every pitch deck the fund ever sent to an LP. Stonebridge identifies buildings with rents below market. It underwrites a business plan. Renovation budget for a one-bedroom in a 1973 building, $14,000. Expected rent premium, $380 per month. Payback period, 37 months. After 37 months, every dollar of the premium is profit. The premium is not paid by the old tenant. The old tenant leaves, sometimes voluntarily on a routine turnover, sometimes after a rent increase they cannot absorb. The strategy requires turnover. The strategy does not require eviction. It does not refuse it either. Across the 3,412 doors, turnover runs at 38% a year. That is 1,297 units. The fund renovates and releases between 800 and 1,000 of those units annually. Each one adds roughly $4,500 in annual net operating income. At a 5% cap rate, $4,500 of NOI becomes $90,000 of enterprise value, times 1,000 units a year, times 5 years. The arithmetic is not evil. The arithmetic is the arithmetic. The fund returns capital to LPs. The LPs return capital to beneficiaries. The beneficiaries cash their checks on the first of the month. The second rule, the system does not require anyone in it to be cruel. It requires only that the spreadsheet tie out. Level 5. It is Sunday. You drive to Salem for lunch. Your mother lives in a 2-bedroom condo she bought in 2014 with the lump sum from your father's life insurance. She is 64. She retired from teaching 3 years ago. She has made pot roast. You do not bring up the fund. You do not bring up the rent. She asks about work. You tell her about a patient who brought his own toothbrush to the appointment. She laughs. She asks if the new apartment is working out. You say it is fine. After lunch, she opens her laptop at the kitchen table. She shows you the purse portal. The portal shows her monthly deposit, $2,940. It shows the last cost of living increase, 2.8%, July of last year. She's proud of it. She says her friend Margaret gets less because Margaret worked for the county, not the state. You think about the $180, you think about the 34%. You do not say anything. The kitchen is quiet for several seconds. She closes the laptop. You drive home at dusk. You pass a billboard for a new apartment complex called The Meridian. Now leasing, luxury studios from $1,795. You recognize the property management logo at the bottom, Rivercrest, Brenda's company. The third rule, the capital that pays your mother is the capital that raises your rent. The two entries close on the same page of the same ledger. It is 11:23 p.m. on a Wednesday in March. In an apartment across town, the living room is lit by a laptop and a single lamp in the corner. A mug of tea has gone cold on the coffee table. Upstairs, a neighbor walks across the floor and stops. A young woman is clicking through the county assessor website. She is 26. She moved in 2 weeks ago. Her rent is $2,070. Her mother is a retired nurse in Tacoma, drawing from Washington State DRS. She does not know this yet. She is looking at a Delaware LLC. She is wondering who to write the letter to. She will keep clicking. She will find the fund. She will find the LPs. She will find a version of her mother on a different line of the same spreadsheet. The ledger reconciles in silence. It always did.